Hello everybody, welcome to our webinar, part of DIH² activities. DIH², as you know, is a pan-European network of robotics DIH in agile production. And we are here today to speak about the new business model to win the industry revolution. I am Géraldine Andrieux-Augustin, founder and CEO of BLUMORPHO, happy partner of DIH² program actually. And I'm with Elmira Baudot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
So Elmira is Lean and Open Innovation Project Manager at BLUMORPHO, and she's your contact point when you deal with DIH² for any questions related to this webinar. Just very quickly about DIH², the goal of DIH², which is supported by the European Commission, is to accelerate factories through robotics. Just in a few words, DIH² is starting from a network of 26 different European digital innovation hubs. So basically, a digital innovation hub is a group gathering research organization, companies, accelerators, incubators, but also working together in one objective to support the European strength in one specific thematics. And in our case, it's related to robotics. And as you know, this robotization and agile production is a very important topic for Europe. So we are planning to expand DIH² to more than 170 DIH by 2022. So if you're interested in joining us, really feel free to let us know. We will be happy to welcome you in our activity. What is our ambition is to generate innovations to maximize productivity and to optimize agility in more than 300,000 manufacturing SMEs and mid-cap across the European Union. Because, as you know, we have a lot of small companies, SMEs and mid-cap in Europe that could totally benefit from automatization and robotization of their activity. And our goal is to help you to make it happen. Also very important for you to know, DIH² is funded currently by the European Commission. We have received 16 million euros to support the activity. But what you need to know also is that we have included cascade funding, meaning that 8 million euros will be redistributed to companies or consortium active in some program that we are supporting. So again, DIH² is very an open activity, and we are strongly encourage you to benefit from it. And first of all, because I won't be the only one working now, we have a question for you. We wanted to know what is, according to you, agile production. So it's easy. You can just look on your screen and you can tell us if agile production is for you technology, a possible future, a new business. It's okay, just need to click. I see that not all of you have started clicking, so will you play the game? We're going to share the result after. So I take just a few minutes more so you can play the game and let us know what is the agile production for you. Maybe you don't want to answer because it's for you the answer. So an additional question for you. Maybe agile production is for you a solution to optimize your process, a dream, or maybe a too high investment. So just answer, and I will share the result of the two questions very shortly. Okay, so I'm gonna share it with you. You'll see it's interesting. So it's interesting to see that it's for all of you a solution to optimize your process. It's not a dream. And it's not too high investment, meaning that you might be ready to enter into this activity. And just to show the result of the first question. So for most of you, agile production is a possible future. It's a technology. It might be a technology. It might be a new business. So what we can see from your feedback is that you have interest in agile production. So I've seen your feedback. And just to give you an overview, just to all agree on what agile production is about. So it's not a dream, it's not a too high investment. It's a potential future, and it's a way to optimize your process. You're totally right. Actually, agile production refers to robotic production systems that operate quickly and adaptively in a dynamically changing work context. So the term agile refers to speed and adaptation. And when we deal with agile production to make it successful, it means that it implies tasks that will be maintained and that will improve efficiency, accuracy, dependability over non-agile production. So agile production can be indeed dedicated to any type of production, any manufactured goods. So we consider that all European companies can totally benefit from agile production. And it seems that you agree on that based on the answer you gave us. So why we have decided to make this webinar? You might have participated to our first webinar, first session of webinar. We call it Discovery Webinar. And most of the participants expressed interest in process automation, predictive maintenance, process digitizations, and organization when it's deal with agile production. And but also they were quite interesting in new business model implementation, supply chain organization, and equipment as a service. And we do fully agree with all this feedback. And we at DIH², we are really working to provide you with the right solution to make it happen, meaning to implement new business model, but also to optimize your processes. So indeed, for us, agile production is not a technology. Is not only process optimization, it should be a way to develop new businesses, because at the end of the day, you might have the best production facility, but if you do not make business, it won't be very useful. So we are working with you on your side to help you in your business activities. Why we do think that agile production is very important is because to account the challenge Europe is facing when it's dealing with manufacturing. So just very quickly, and you all know about that, but the top challenges that European manufacturing companies are facing are mainly three. First, it deals with the competition from what we call emerging economies, but mainly China and Brazil. And the issue we're facing in Europe is that we have higher labor costs and we have also strong regulation. So it's positive in a way, but it's true that at the global scale and the global landscape, it's put us in a difficult situation when it deals with the production. A lot of high volume production are indeed done in Asia, and for a long time, globalization has been quite an added value, but the challenge is changing. Why? Because we see more and more automation. Automation could be also very interesting for high volume production, but also for smaller batches where you need a bit more adaptability. And as you will see, a solution has emerged to make it happen, to make it possible. And the third point, also very important, especially in Europe, is that we have a smarter customer base, meaning that even the end users, the final customer, are all very careful and pay a lot of attention to how the goods they are buying are produced. And that's very important also in Europe. That's also important for you to take into account when you are producing your solution, when you are producing your products. Customers really have an impact, and that impact will be higher and higher. So we need to be careful about how the production is done. We need to be careful also on the footprints and the impact on the environment. We are very cautious about that in Europe, and we have to be very proud of that. That's indeed quite important. So we need to adapt our way of working. And again, it's not only that, it's also to generate new businesses. And there is some solution, as you know, everybody is speaking about artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence brings a lot of disruption opportunities. It's true for China, it's true for the North America, but it's also true for Europe. So we have good opportunity to catch here. And we are also working on your side to help you through this pathway. When I was saying that customers are more and more important to take into account, also not only to sell, but also to produce, just to give you some example. What we can see right now is that we have an increase in the dynamisms of the manufacturing. What you can see on this slide is that you have indeed the manufacturer delivering to the customer, but through AI and through of the industry, we have seen the digitalized supply chain, meaning that we are now able to deliver product at global scale in an efficient way through digitalized supply chain. But also, very important, we've seen an increase in urbanization, and it's made possible to produce closer to the customers. So that's also a change in the way goods can be produced. And the closer to the customer, the better it could be also to adapt the production depending on specific needs and to make customization. Another important point to take into account is that the consumer is not only a consumer, it can be also a maker. And we see a growth and a development of the maker economy. So whatever your business, this is a trend you need to take into account. And it could be quite important for you to assess new ways and new solutions to address your markets. So that's just a summary of what I just said. So we can see production closer to the consumer. The maker economy is very developing, and it's a new trend to take into account. And how to make it happen? Why do we see this evolution? Is because of the digital technology, actually. So there is more personalization. We have seen an accelerated globalization, and also we have seen more integration of digital technologies in product and services. So with connectivity and digitalization, also the manufacturing world is changing. In addition to that, we were speaking about personalization and customization. It's true that with the growth of data analytics and artificial intelligence, a company can now better understand the markets and they can better focus their offering. We could also lead to kind of refragmentation and better segmentation of their product to address a specific need of the market. So this is a trend, and we should have a look at. Another trend I wanted to highlight today is human manufacturing. So it's a new area of automation, and it means enhance and advance relevant human capabilities with new technology. So you could consider that like in one side, you have high value added tasks that are carried out mainly by humans. On the other side, you have very repetitive tasks performed by machines with high speed, high precision, high security. And we combine both, you have increase in the quantity and quality of jobs in manufacturing and related services. And why this is important? Because it's quite important to take into account talent management. Human resources is you need to make people interested in what they are doing. And it's true that repetitive task is not the best way to get them interested. And also to collect and to welcome high educated people in the manufacturing industry. It's good also to make them possible to drive high added value tasks. So when we speak about automatization and robotization, we should not consider that we will kill a lot of jobs. It could be also a way, and it has to be a way, to create new jobs that will lead to new business model also, because we can work differently. So this is something to be taken into account, because indeed, in the past, a lot of production activity has been sent to Asia for high volume production. But since we see changes in the market need, the customer need, the organization of the we could work totally differently. And these two trends are very important. So what are the European trends in manufacturing? And this is a graph that has been done by Manufacture with the 2030 strategy. Why we are good in Europe and what we should leverage on. First, we have access to key enabling technologies. And as you know, Europe has invested a lot in key enabling technologies. What we can do with those technologies, we can really work on digital transformation and new business model. Again, there is new way to make businesses, and manufacturing can help doing it. We can also develop leadership in mastering complexity of product, processes, and systems. We have quite good competencies, knowledge in Europe. We are customers very careful about how they are careful about the impact on the environment. So we can take that into account to develop smarter product maybe. That might require complexity, but we're able to address that. And again, here, we can and we should develop leadership in resource efficiencies and sustainable development. By combining all three, Europe should be a leader in resilience and adaptive manufacturing. So we have in Europe, and this is an analysis not done by us, but by manufacturer, we have in Europe the right ecosystems to drive this leadership in manufacturing. How to do that? We have access to cutting-edge technology. So I will not go into details, but I would like to give you some examples just to raise your interest and maybe you get some additional ideas on that. And those examples are dedicated to show how it can enable new business model. So for example, the first example I wanted to give you is taking a pain point into an added value, battery. We are spending a lot of time charging everything. For example, your phone, personally my phone, I have to really take care of that. Every night I have to say, okay, I have to charge it. But it's true for a lot of devices, also in the industry, of course. And if we consider power tools, today, you really depend on their charging capacity. So with new technology, we could consider removing the pain point to a pay-per-use business model. And the goal here is to say, you do not only buy now a power tool, you just buy the accessibility to it, how you can use it. So you get access to the availability of your tool, you have to work with it. So how we can do that? We have new technologies, especially new solution to improve deeply the batteries, the lifetime, the power of charging and the power output. They can be designed in a way that they can be smaller, lighter, and you can have a customized form with a high level of security. So as you can see, a new technology, like for example, a new battery solution or a solution to improve battery actually, can also directly impact your activity because you do not mind anymore about selling your product, but you sell an access to your product, the ability to use your product. And it can't be possible with new technology. So that's why we do think that it's quite important to have a look to disruptive solutions so you could integrate it to develop your new business model. And that if you provide accessibility and availability of your solution, of your product, then your customer don't have to take care into account anymore the battery. The battery is not more consumable. It's just fully integrated in your devices. Another example of pay-per-use that could be made possible by maintenance is an example of a company that now is providing equipment based on time availability invoices. So again, same example here. So you do not sell your equipment, but you sell its availability and you invoice based on the time it has been used. And for your customer, it's very interesting because you reduce the capex you have to engage, and also you're not, as a customer, you're not anymore in charge of the maintenance, but it's your provider who's taking care of it. On your side, you can really get access to new customers because of this capex challenge they are not facing anymore. They are just charged on OPEX, on availabilities and the way and how much they're going to use your products. So this is really an evolution of business model. And robotics can help doing it. Also, another things related to agile production, it's late differentiation. So you could consider that with automation of your production processes, you can really decrease the number of references inside the portfolio, and so you make all the processes without taking into account, for example, the color, and you make the final customization at the closest place of the customer. So that way, you really reduce the delivery time based on customer requests, and you really simplify the supply chain and the stock management, because you will really do the customization at the customer place or very close to the customer location. The process is simpler, and you can really adapt and customize your offer, which could be also a unique value proposition you can offer to your own customer. So you're gaining both in your marketing perspective, but also on your production processes. So the future of manufacturing, we consider, is driven by new business model. So now a bit of theory based on the different example I gave you. So we spoke about pay-per-use. So definition of pay-per-use could be, it includes any type of payment structure in which the customer have unlimited access to resources, but only pay for what they actually use or for the result linked to their use. So you're not selling an equipment, you're selling access to it, and your customer pay for what they use. Why we have seen this trend? I've seen this trend because we are seeing a trend from an evolution from sharing instead of owning. We see also increased interest in personalization of the services. And here also is very interesting for your customer because there is no planned obsolescence. And as you know, this is also a current topic. So what could be the benefits of this as a service business model? It's reduced the entry barrier on costs, it increased flexibility on access, and it's improved quality of services. So you need to know that this trend is not only a trend. New companies are really looking at developing this kind of new businesses. So whatever your company size, you need to take that into account because competition could arrive and disruption could arrive also in your market. So it's better really for you to be prepared. Just very quickly, pay-per-use. Actually, you know, it's something that exists for quite a long time, and Amazon has also set up this activity, and they have generated 7 billion euros revenues with it in 2017, which represents an increase of 43% compared to 2016. And actually, how they have done that? Actually, they have revolutionized the startup costs for internet firm by granting access to server infrastructure on the pay-per-use model. So this is also known as the Amazon CapEx-OpEx effect. So they are really, they have really bring something with disruption here with this infrastructure as a service, and they are really making business on it. So this is something just to highlight that it's not only a potential future, this is already implemented, and now we see more and more companies really looking at that. Factory as a service is also another trend that should be interesting to consider. It's a combination between competencies such as the software integration, automation technology, systems engineering, and risk and financial management. So basically, how does it work? The goal is to share access to your factory. So the goal is to negotiate some KPIs on the equipment in advance. And so you do not purchase the machine, but you purchase a subscription. So it's really machine as a service. So you purchase the access to the machine depending on some defined KPI. What are the benefits of that? So it's fully scalable. So again, here the challenge is it's CapEx, but if you engage into smart factory as a service, you buy a subscription, so you can have access to different equipment, and it's fully scalable for you. So you can adapt it depending on your production capacity or needs. It's fully automated, and again, it's fully adaptable to your production capacity. It's reduced also time to market, and it's also reduce your development time. And Kuka mentioned during an interview that it could reduce about 30% the development time, meaning that it will really reduce the cost of production. So it could be also quite interesting indeed. Since you are sharing, so it's also increase the reliability, meaning that a lot of effort are spent also to make sure that the equipment are ready to be used, because again, the payment is subscription. So if it's not working, then you do not pay, of course. You have also a good relationship between the machine, the robot, and the software. They are all linked all together, which could also improve and optimize the processes. They are designed to be intuitive interface, and this is also very dedicated to customized products. So it's really a way to bring all together the right solutions, the right competencies to address your specific needs. We are speaking about agile production, but if we just summarize it, when we speak about agility here, we really like this sentence saying that to be agile is to have the capability to survive and prosper in conditions that are through unpredictable changes by reacting quickly and effectively to changing markets. We all know that our world is really changing. The innovation is spreading very fast. Customer have some specific needs. It's changing fast. So we need to be able to adapt our production tool and production processes. That's why agility is very important. And that's why agile production is something quite interesting to have in mind. Also because, as we said before, Europe has a specific positioning at global scale, and the development of this agility can be also a strength at European level. In addition to that, we are speaking about new business model, and if we can summarize them, all this as a service business model can be summarized as flexible consumption models. So all those product as a service, manufacturing as a service, maintenance as a service, pay-per-use, etc., they are all customer-centric model. So in a traditional business model, we are more product-centric. But when we deal with this evolution, again permitted by digital, we are more focused on the customer. So we need to be customer-centric. And this evolution of business model, you could consider it will be it could be very long term, but it's not so sure. So it's very important already now to take into account this evolution, because you need to get ready. You need to be prepared for that. And what we know is that this kind of changes really need a full reorganization at the company level, because if you change business model without changing your way of working, either your organization, it is very likely that you will fail into product launch, you could slow your growth, you could reach higher costs, and you could gain a very high operating complexity, which is not at all the objective. So just to summarize, we see that at global level, trends are changing, manufacturing changing. We see a lot of dynamisms in the market. We see also high complexity maybe at the product level, but not only taking the product into consideration, but also the sustainability of production, lowering the impact on the environment, lowering the impact of the supply chain and logistics on the environment. So that are very important trends that we need to take into account. In addition to that, the customer are really getting an eye now on how the thing he is buying are manufactured. The customer are going to play a higher role in a lot of where the industry will be organized, and we need to take that into account. So this evolution of business model are very interesting, and we should have a look at. Why we are addressing this point on DIH²? Because DIH², we are here to support you to get access to new solutions, to enter into agile production, but also to do that by lowering your risk to enter into this kind of new world. So what can we do for you? Just to explain that, I wanted to give a short overview of the different activity we are running. First, within DIH², with the support of the European Commission, we can support you financially and technically to work on the automatization and optimization of your production processes. We can also help you to get access to potential customers and to test and offer your agile and robotic solution. And finally, because we are European, and we can help you also to join a pan-European community to really shape the European future in standardization in robotics. Robotics is a means to develop Europe and to sustain the growth and the economy in Europe. So when we deal with pan-European community, to work on robotics is not only at robotics level, of course, but it's really to help European companies to sustain their activity and increase their leadership. So just to come back to the first point related to support, financial support and technical support, here we can work with any technology supplier and manufacturing company. I will explain how. So it's dedicated to accelerate your activity toward agile production. When we deal with customer access to customer, it's mainly for solution providers. So if you are already working on development or if you are already offering a solution that can help companies to enter into agile production, we will be happy also to support you. And so join the Industry Alliance is indeed there. Whatever your size, whatever your activity, you are welcome to join us. When I was speaking about market to offer, actually DIH², it's as you have seen, it's a group of digital innovation hub working all together. And when we look at the different partner cover, we have the ability to reach more than 300,000 SME across 26 different countries. So how you could market your offer is through all different actions. And you know, we have digital events, we have regional events, we have conferences where we are participating, big conferences especially. So what is interesting for you to know especially is that if you have an interest from some of your customers to enter into agile production with you, with your solution actually, we can co-finance the activity because we can engage you 248,000 euros into trials to adapt your product and services. So we are, and I will explain that just later on, but we are supporting some test experimentation for the use of new solutions to enter into agile production. And to do that, this is kind of what we call technology transfer experimentation. But you can bring 2 to 3 different partners working together. So it could be a customer, end user, technology provider, manufacturing company, of course, bringing them all together to develop a new concept to agile production. And we do think that it's quite interesting because by engaging an end user, you can already start testing not only the technology, but also you can test how you could make your business model around it. I think the presentation, robotization, AI, digitization have also an impact on the business model, and the manufacturing process has to be aligned with this. So take really into account that. So through DIH, you can test not only the technology, but also test how you're going to make business on it. So we are here with our technology transfer experimentation. You're going to receive, if you are selected, because it's a selection process, you're going to receive support for about 10 months. And we are planning to help up to 26 beneficiaries through the DIH² program supported by the European Commission. But we don't want to stop here. We really want to be up and running after the support of the European Commission. So that's why you are very welcome also to join us, because the more people will be, the more sustainability we can drive and show how important it is at your benefit. So I briefly explain, you're going to have to, if you're interested in doing that, you need to prepare an application. So it's dedicated to any company, but especially SMEs and mid-cap. So it could be up to 500 employees and up to 100 million incomes. If you're a large corporation, don't hesitate to contact us as well. We have also some solutions that we can discuss with you. And if you're a technology provider, it can be any type of provider or system integrator, research organization, competence centers, SMEs, mid-cap, startup. You are all really welcome to enter into applications. To support you, we have defined 9 challenges related to flexible automation, integrated safety, human-machine interaction, mobility, modularity, scalability, usability, and adaptability. Those challenges are more at the process level and dedicated to integrate new technologies. But also, as I just mentioned, keep in mind that you can really use those challenges to start defining how you could implement the solution with your business models. So some links for you. So if you want to have more information, you can also contact the help desk, especially on how to submit your proposal, your application to benefit from DIH². And this is where you can also apply for the call. In any case, we're going to share with you this presentation, so you will receive these links. You can start applying now because indeed the deadline to apply for the first stage is the 21st of October. And if you're selected, you could enter into the second stage. And if you have specific questions, don't hesitate also to contact us. So your key contact is Hermine Rapoto, and this is our phone number and email address. And now I think that we have a bit of time also to answer all your questions. So you have on the right, I've forgotten to mention that, but you have on the right a question box. So you can just type in your questions and we will be really happy to answer it. I hope this information was relevant for you and that was also interesting. But don't hesitate to ask your question right now. Meanwhile, what I can do also is asking you questions, because if you are interested about the different use cases you mentioned, don't hesitate to let us know, because we can share with you more information. And what I like also to know, if you could be interested in receiving more information from us on the sponsoring program, on the open call to experiment agile productions, and also if you're interested to join the Industrial Alliance. So just let us know and we will come to you with additional information. So just to answer the first question, yes, the presentation will be sent by email to each of you. And again, if you have some specific questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, and I have another question also. I introduced during this webinar different use cases. I could be interested to know if you want to receive more information on those different use cases and business cases. So I'm just going to ask you if you are interested any of the use case I mentioned, presenting the pay-per-use, the late customization, any of the different and the late differentiations, and anything related to digitization. If you are interested in that, just let me know, so we can contact you back with additional information. What is Industrial Alliance? So basically, the Industrial Alliance objectives is to combine different companies that are active in robotics, and not only actually, but also interested in robotics, to work on some standards to strengthen European position related to manufacturing. So we are gathering different companies, large corporation, and but it could be also startups, SMEs, mid-cap, and research organization, of course, with the goal to speak the same voice to the European Commission and to make some kind of lobbying also for standardization. How that the funding part works. So basically, what you need to do is to apply, presenting your project, and based on that, you will receive some, if you are selected, you will receive some grants. So we're gonna make a specific webinar to explain it in more details, how this process is working. But if you're interested, we will share that with you, of course. So agile production, according to us, yes, agile production also cover maintenance activities, and we do think that it's quite important. So we will push for that as well. As you might know, we're going to have also this webinar as a series, meaning that we will do it again with more information on the 17th of October. So if you have any additional questions, don't hesitate also to let us know before. We are also very interested in your feedback on this webinar. If you have seen some points that are missing, let us know, because we are planning a lot of different webinars in the coming weeks and coming months. So if you see some specific topic of interest, don't hesitate to let us know and just sending us a message. So I think we don't have any more questions for the moment. So we are on time, which is quite good. So I hope it was useful for you. And again, regarding the call and how to submit your application, we're gonna share that with you as well. The date for the next meeting will be the October 17th. So we will be happy to welcome you as well. Thank you very much for your participation. We are really looking forward to collaborating with you, and with one goal, to make Europe very strong in manufacturing. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.